Happy Monday, Steelers Nation. I am back from the dead after being sick all weekend. I appreciate every single one of you guys that reached out to me, whether it be via Twitter or YouTube or whatever the case may be, wishing me well. It was definitely a tough weekend, but I'm back with you guys. Still getting over it a little bit, so if you hear a couple sniffles, or maybe a little coughs here and there, that's why. But I am here giving you guys premium Steelers content today. And today, NFL Combine starts today. We're going to start talking about some QB rumors, Justin Fields trade rumors, some Kenny Pickett stuff today as well. And then also we're going to be talking about the new salary cap for the 2024 season and what it means for the Pittsburgh Steelers as we approach free agency here in 2024. Of course, today, the scouting combine begins in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, I am not there, but we do have a complete team of folks there in Indianapolis, and we're going to be giving you guys some exclusive Steelers Combine content right here on the channel, starting with tomorrow, where we're going to have an exclusive interview with Steelers General Manager Omar Khan. The Khan artist himself will be on the show tomorrow, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for exclusive content from the NFL Combine all week long. We're going to be letting you guys know who they're interviewing. We're gonna have those exclusive interviews with players, and of course with Omar Khan tomorrow. We're going to be covering a lot of it on Steelers Talk Live on Wednesday, but tomorrow it will be that exclusive interview with GM Omar Khan. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button to never miss any of our content this week. So let's start with the big kind of topic heading into the week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is whether or not the Steelers are going to make a move for Justin Fields and trade for him this week at the Combine. And the trade rumors and the trade speculation around Fields has definitely hit a high point right now, as Ben Devine here tweeted this out, and this is what Albert Breer said on ESPN this weekend when it comes to a Fields trade this week at the Combine. I think the bones of the trade will be set next week. There's some urgency on the Bears' part to get something done. So this could absolutely happen this week, guys. If the Steelers do decide to move off of Kenny Pickett and trade for Justin Fields, this is absolutely something that could be in the cards for the black and gold here, especially because I'm not too sure about the market that Justin Fields is going to have, because he's not particularly a great fit with a lot of the teams that are looking for quarterbacks this year in the National Football League. Let's break them down here, starting with the Atlanta Falcons, which is kind of the team that he's being rumored to the most other than the Steelers at this point, because he's from the Georgia area. He'd be going home, all these different things. But Zach Robinson, their new offensive coordinator, he likes a Kirk Cousins type or a Brock Purdy type, somebody that maybe isn't the most athletic, but somebody that's really good within the pocket, really accurate passer, can make all the passes from within the pocket. And Justin Fields is more of a dynamic playmaker type, and his biggest flaw has been arguably pocket passing. So I'm not sure how much he fits inside that Zach Robinson, Sean McVay style offense. And then you look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Their new offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, just coached Justin Fields, and according to multiple reports, he was throwing Fields under the bus in his interviews. So why would he want to have Fields as his next quarterback? That doesn't make sense to me either. Then you get to Denver, and I don't think that he's Sean Payton's type of quarterback either. I think that Sean Payton likes almost like a Drew Brees type, where it's like maybe not the most athletic, but somebody that can get through his reads, and definitely a true pocket passer type. That's not Justin Fields, so I don't see him with Denver. And then Minnesota, I think they're waiting on a Kirk Cousins decision. I don't think they're going to jump the gun here and trade for Justin Fields, because they want Kirk Cousins to be their quarterback. Minnesota's not an option either. Then you get to Washington here. They're going to be taking a quarterback at number 2. I mean, I just think it would be really foolish of them to go trade for Fields when you could get a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels there at number 2 overall if you're in that position. The Giants are a little bit interesting because I think Fields fits what Brian Daboll likes in a quarterback, but they're pretty much locked in another big year, another big contract year of Daniel Jones, and they're not going to be able to cut him, so they're kind of in a tough spot there. And then Tampa's likely going to be re-signing Baker Mayfield. So there's a lot of these teams that are looking for quarterbacks right now that I just don't think Justin Fields fits in. And of course, that's good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the two teams that I could see actually being potential landing spots for Justin Fields here are the New England Patriots. They don't have a quarterback right now. I mean, of course, Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones is not the answer. Now, personally, I think New England, because they're sitting at that number 3 overall slot, I think they're probably going to go and get a guy like Jacoby Brissett to be their kind of bridge quarterback, and then they'll take whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels, whoever doesn't go in the top 2 there, and that's who they'll pick at the top of round 1. And then another team to keep in mind here is the Seattle Seahawks, because you look at Mike Macdonald, the new head coach there in Seattle. He comes from that Harbaugh tree, and he's seen what it looks like to have a really elite rushing quarterback as the quarterback of your team in Lamar Jackson. Then now he has the opportunity to potentially go out and get a guy like Justin Fields, who could maybe learn for a year behind Geno Smith. That's definitely an option as well. But I definitely think the Pittsburgh Steelers should be the betting favorite to get Justin Fields. And it really is a question of whether or not the Steelers want to trade for Fields and replace Kenny Pickett with him, and also if they're willing to pay the price to get him in a trade. So what the market means right now, in my opinion, when I look at the landscape, is that there's not going to be a whole lot of teams, in a bidding war for Justin Fields' services, which of course is a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers because they can get him for a lower price than some people are probably expecting right now. So right now, I could certainly see the con artist here, Omar Khan, do something like this, where you can get Justin Fields for a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick this season. So you wouldn't have a 3rd-round pick this year. You have 2 4th-round picks in your possession right now, so you'd still have 1 4th-rounder, but you give up a 3rd-rounder and a 4th-rounder this year in exchange for Justin Fields. And for somebody that could be your potential franchise quarterback and has the potential to be a star in this league, I mean, this trade package is absolutely something that the Steelers should consider if the Bears are willing to deal him for this package. Now, the question is, will Omar Khan make this kind of move? And we all know that Omar has a really good relationship with Chicago, right? They made that Chase Claypool trade a couple of years ago. They almost made a trade for Jalen Johnson at the trade deadline last season. There's definitely a relationship between Khan and Ryan Poles, the GM of the Chicago Bears, and I could certainly see Khan being the first guy on the list that Poles calls this week in Indy to try and get a deal done. And honestly, man, with the way Kenny Pickett has played over the last couple of seasons, it wouldn't shock me if the con artist strikes again and we have a new quarterback by the end of the week. Make sure you guys get down there in the comment section right now and let me know. Would you accept this trade if the Bears offered it to you? Type A if you would accept, or type D for decline. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know if you're accepting or declining this trade offer for Justin Fields. So now we shift from Justin Fields to a report regarding Kenny Pickett here, and things are kind of conflicting here because former Vikings GM Rick Spielman, longtime GM in the National Football League, says that he thinks the Steelers are quote-unquote all in on Kenny Pickett being their starting quarterback in 2024. Now, I don't know how he knows this, but this is what his speculation is, and this is what he had to say. What I'm thinking is, and what you've been reading out there, is that they're all in on Kenny Pickett. So don't expect the Steelers to go up and trade for one of the big 3 quarterbacks in the draft or be very active in free agency, signing a Kirk Cousins or maybe trading for Justin Fields. Now, coming up here, I'm going to give my take on the quarterback situation. I'll let you guys know what you guys should believe, what you guys should not believe, what I think the quarterback situation is going to look like. But before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is just heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the flight for the playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. You might be asking yourselves, Jack, how does this work? Well, here's how. Here's how you play. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So today's entry for me, guys, I'm going to go with Cade Cunningham on the less for points. I'm going to take the more on points for Jalen Brunson, who's been fantastic this year, and I'm going to take the less on R.J. Barrett assists with the Toronto Raptors. So you can get your picks in now with Prize Picks. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. So now where I'm at with the quarterback situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers is that I do think, and I agree with Spielman, that Pickett is most likely going to be the starting quarterback for the black and gold in 2024. Now, if you've watched the show, you know I don't agree with that decision, all right? But it's not up to me, all right? It's up to them. It's up to Omar Khan. It's up to Mike Tomlin. It's up to Art Rooney to figure out what's best for this team moving forward. And whatever they decide, by the way, I'm going to back 150%. If they think Kenny Pickett can be the franchise quarterback of this team, even though I might disagree with that, I'm going to support the kid 100%. But also, on the other hand, I'm not going to completely shut the door that they're going to make a move for a quarterback, especially if they can get a guy like Justin Fields for like a third and a fourth round pick. I mean, this is a potential superstar quarterback that we're talking about here. Arguably the best rushing quarterback on the planet with a huge arm and great playmaking instincts. You're getting that guy for a third and a fourth round pick over to upgrade for Kenny Pickett? Are you kidding me? I am taking that deal 100% of the time. And if the Steelers aren't taking that deal, I got to start questioning some of the decision-making elements that are going on in the front office at this point. Now, guys, my ideal quarterback room at this point is I would love to see Russell Wilson get the job because you can get him for the vet minimum, which opens up a bunch of interesting possibilities in free agency as well. Russell Wilson is one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the National Football League. He had a really good season last year comparable to Kirk Cousins, which people are saying is worth $30, $35, $40 million per season on his next contract. You can get Russ for $1.2 million against the cap. And then I would love to draft Michael Penix Jr. on day two, in round two, have him fall to us. And then, I think he's got the potential to be a really good quarterback in this league. And because of those knee issues, I think he might fall a little bit. So my ideal quarterback situation, you got Russell Wilson, number one, Michael Penix Jr. as the future at number two. But then you get to the most likely quarterback situation here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think it's going to be Kenny Pickett as the number one quarterback. Then you probably get Ryan Tannehill as your second quarterback. It's either going to be him or Mason Rudolph, in my opinion. And then if Kenny Pickett stinks, they'll just plug and play Ryan Tannehill there in Arthur Smith's offense. And then the third quarterback is going to be some sort of rookie, drafted in like third, fourth, fifth round, somewhere in that range. And that's probably what we're going to be looking at here when we get to 2024. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Steelers make a splash at the quarterback position this offseason? Give me a yes or give me a no down there in the comments section to let me know what you think. So now this news broke over the weekend when I was sick, so I want to go into it a little bit more detail here, where the NFL announced that it's raising its cap number up to over $255 million. That is over a $30 million increase from last year's cap number. That's just absolutely insane to me, man. That is an unprecedented number. That's not what people were expecting. That's not what the Steelers were expecting. So they're going to have even more cap space to work with here as we approach the 2024 free agency period. Now, also, they ended up cutting center Mason Cole. Now, some people were surprised by the timing of this. Personally, I was not. This is not somebody that you want on your roster, not even as a backup, because you don't want to be paying your backup center over $5 million in cap space heading into next year, right? So you save almost $5 million in cap, and then you have to take on $1.5 million in dead cap. But hey, man, I'm going to take those savings all day long, and that's going to help the Steelers get a brand new starting center moving forward. So after that cut, the Steelers now have almost $9 million in cap space for 2024, and they're not done with all their cuts yet, guys, okay? I still think they're going to make a couple cuts here before the start of free agency, and there's 4 guys that could potentially get cut, in my opinion here, some kind of the bigger names on kind of the bigger money figures. Allen Robinson, you can pretty much take it to the bank at some point, is going to get cut. He was a parking cone last year. He could not get open against man coverage. $10 million saved when he cut him. That one's an easy decision. Patrick Peterson, I guess we'll see. $6.85 million saved if you release him. It seems like the Steelers are trying to get him to do some sort of pay cut to stay with the team this year. We'll see how that works out. And then KZ and Keanu Neal as well, get you about just over $5 million in saved cap as well. And with these cuts, guys, if you make all four of those cuts, you could save you could get up to over $30 million in available cap space for 2024 free agency. And that's not even counting restructures. That's not even counting all the different stuff Omar Khan is going to do to save cap, right? So I really do think that the Steelers are going to have the room that they need to fill some of these holes, to sign a starting center, maybe even to sign a starting offensive tackle, maybe a starting outside corner, man. They're going to be spenders during free agency. They're going to have room to work with here. Now, are they going to spend $40 million on Kirk Cousins? I would highly doubt it, but I do think they're going to be spenders, and I do think they're going to find some new veteran players to fill out the starting lineup heading into next year. And then kind of the last thing I want to talk about today is that the Athletic Steelers writer, Mark Caboli, says there is a 100% chance that Patrick Peterson is coming back in 2024. Now, I think the most likely scenario for Patrick Peterson coming back is that he takes a pay cut and then he moves to safety. Now, everything that I have heard from Patrick indicates to me that he's probably going to be willing to take a pay cut to try to win a Super Bowl here in Pittsburgh, and that he's going to be willing to move to safety. He played pretty darn well there down the stretch when Minka got hurt in 2023. So I'm really excited to see what he could do. I really like the savviness that he brings. I like the instincts, and I like the leadership in the locker room. So if you move him to safety, that's one less thing you have to worry about this offseason, and then you can go and get your outside corner in free agency or the draft. Now, keep or cut Patrick Peterson. Let me know down there in the comments section. Type K if you want to keep him, or type C if you want to cut him. Thank you guys so much for getting your answers down there in the comment section. And again, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. That'll be it for today's show. Tomorrow, we've got the exclusive interview with Steelers GM Omar Khan. You guys are not going to want to miss that one. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for exclusive Steelers content all throughout the NFL Combine.